This short video provides schools with an introduction to FFT's Reading Assessment Programme. Our Reading Assessment Programme supports schools in assessing key reading skills. The assessments cover GPC knowledge, decoding, and fluency. There are a range of assessments which align with the teaching sequence of a range of phonics schemes for reception and Year 1, which can be used on a half-termly basis. In reception in Year 1, we recommend that the assessments take place after a defined group of GPCs have been taught in class. The content of the assessments will align with this teaching. In addition to this, there are termly assessments for Year 2 up to the end of Year 6, covering national curriculum expectations. We also have 2 summative assessments at the end of reception and the end of Year 1, which allows schools to quickly assess content taught in those years. These can also be used as baseline assessments for EAL, SEND, or older pupils who are working below the expected standard and have gaps in their phonics knowledge. All DfE past papers for the phonics screening checks are also included in the platform, allowing you to practice these past papers for your pupils in preparation for the Year 1 phonics screening check. All of our assessments are simple and easy to use and take around 5 to 7 minutes for a teacher or teaching assistant to complete with the pupil. The Reading Assessment Programme connects fully to your school MIS and provides instant reports and feedback on reading skills and progress. Let's have a look now at how you can get started with an assessment. The assessment structure and content varies slightly depending on the skills we need to assess the pupils on. For example, we assess pupils on their segmenting and blending skills in the reception assessments. Today, we will have a look at an example of a Year 1 assessment. So we click on the Start Assessment tab and we can see on the right-hand corner, we have the assessment type. Today, we will use the FFT and letters and sounds assessments. We pull down and select the pupil that we want to assess, and all of this data pulls through from your school's MIS. You can see the previous assessment and the next assessment that the pupil can complete. You can also change the assessment so you have full flexibility over which assessment any pupil completes. Today, we will have a look at assessment 9. This is a Year 1 assessment. So you can see the sections that we have for this assessment. We have the phonics, letters and sounds, so we're going to assess the pupil on the GPC knowledge, the decoding, so the application of that GPC knowledge to be able to decode and read words. And then we have the reading section where we will be completing a 1-minute timed read. So we click on Let's Go, and then the pupil makes their way through a range of GPCs, and these will align to that most recent teaching block of GPCs. The assessor simply clicks on Got It or Not Yet as the pupil reads each GPC, or they can use the 1 and 2 keys to be a little bit more discreet. They then move on to the decoding section and reading words. And you can see, first of all, we have a selection of green words. So we are seeing if the pupil at this point can apply their knowledge of their GPCs to be able to decode and read these words. And again, these are all based on that most recent teaching block or earlier content that children have been exposed and practicing in class. In the Year 1 assessments, we also have a range of nonsense words in preparation for the phonics screening check. So we're giving the pupils that early exposure to those nonsense words. And then finally, in the decoding section, the pupils will complete a series of red words or common exception words or tricky words. Again, these will link to that most recent teaching that they will have had in class, so that everything that they are being assessed on, they have been exposed to and practiced in class. And the assessor moves through, marking if they've got it or not yet. The final part of the assessment is the fluency. So the pupils will have a countdown and they will then read a 1-minute passage. So they will read as much of this passage as they can during that 1 minute. As the pupil is working and reading through, the assessor clicks on any words wrong. So for example, if they got the word butter wrong, the assessor would click on that word and it will then log that in the platform and use that to calculate the words correct per minute. This pupil will read as many words as they can during that 1-minute time read, and the content of these for reception Year 1 is based on the GPC knowledge the pupil should have at that point. So again, they are not coming across any content that they've not yet been taught. As the pupils move into Year 2 and Key Stage 2, they will be completing an assessment for the fluency passage, which is at age expected standard. So they will read as much as they can for that 1 minute. the assessor clicking on any words that pupils got wrong. Once the minute is up, the little timer appears in the bottom corner here, and then the assessor has to select the last word read. So if the pupil read the last word was stir, they will click on stir. From that, the platform is then able to calculate the words correct per minute score, and that will feed through into our other data outcomes, including standardized scores and reading fluency ages. The last part of the assessment, the assessor selects the best fit judgment for the pupil based on their fluency skills. So for today, we will select band 1, so those early stages of reading. And that's it. The assessment is complete. We can show results and we can see how the pupil has performed in this particular assessment. So the instant feedback, the percentage accuracy, what they got correct and incorrect for each different section, and lots of key data for their reading fluency as we go through, such as reading accuracy, their words correct per minute, and the band we assess them at. And we can see the standardized scores, reading attainment and reading fluency ages as well, if those are available for that pupil. This is just an initial assessment report, which feeds through into our wider reporting system. We can then click on assess another pupil, and then that process can start again, and the assessor can work with the next child.